Here we go. So this is the pre-show for the Buyers and Sellers Show. I'm Jay Skinner, and let's just listen to some music, and we'll wait till everybody gets on. Oh yeah. And we're live. I'm Jay Skinner, and this is the Buyers and Sellers Show. And I'm sure you got on. Many of you probably saw that I had a guest here planning to come today, and somehow he's not here yet. And so I'm going to address some other topics that go back to last week, and I think it'll be interesting to you as well because Reverend Muzinga, I hope he's okay. I've texted and called, and he may pop in here, and when he does, we'll just jump right in and do it. But unless he comes on, we're not going to get into the topics that are on there because I wanted to develop them with him, and we'll get that on another day. So with that is said, I got some feedback here the other day, actually this morning, about my show last week. And it's like, I love getting feedback. And when I do get feedback, it's like, okay, it helps me be better. And let's see, there we go. Got people. Good morning, Doug Wing. Good to see you. Glad you're here. And I just want to click on this thing here because it looks like I got my get started banner going. Let me find that and click it off. There we go. Oh, good. Excellent. Doug, good to see you. This is Doug Wing. He's one of the former owners of the Little Giant Ladder Company. His dad founded it. And look at what I got here. His latest book, The Giver. And this is a cool book. And look, he said, Jay, this is The Giver with much love. Doug Wing. He's autographed it for me. Thank you, Doug. This is beautiful. And I haven't got through it yet, but I'm looking forward to that. And I really, really appreciate you autographing it personally to me like this. The Giver is a fiction book about a real nonfiction life situation. And Doug certainly talks about that. And if you want to know more about that, you go back to some of our past shows. In fact, a few weeks ago, Doug was on talking about this. So thanks, Doug. Very much appreciate you being here and the work that you're doing. Okay, there we go. I got to go. Boom. Comments. And anyone else, be sure and chime in. I'd love to see you. And like I said, I'm keeping my eye out for Reverend Muzinga. And if he pops on, then we'll go. Or if he calls me on the phone, I'll check it because it's certainly not like anybody like he would do anybody else to not show up. So I'm sure there's something going on here, and I just hope he's okay. Anyway, so what was the comment that I had this morning about my show last week? And it was that it was a little quirky. Okay, it was about Jay Skinner and what does Jay Skinner do? And I thought, you know, I can understand and the that I was bouncing around on a lot of topics and a lot of things, and this is kind of say it's one of my things that it's always difficult because people want me to focus in on stuff, and I tend to have so much stuff going on that I'm talking about this and this and this and this and this, and sometimes it just doesn't uh, you know doesn't happen like we would hope. And by the way, I see more people getting on looking for for Reverend Musinga, and I just want you to know that I hope he's okay. I'm try to communicate through text and phone. I'm not hearing from him, and for some reason he's not showing up on the broadcast so far. If he comes in, we'll bring him in. So if you're just getting in looking for Reverend Musinga, that'll be it. In the meantime, we're going to just talk about what does Jay Skinner do, and what I want to do here, and was a topic of my show last week, is rather than being quirky or disjointed, I want to, in a really short period of time here, help you know what I do and understand it better. Because what makes it difficult is, and you see on the screen, I do a couple things. The CEO extender, where I work for business owners and CEOs and presidents of company to get projects done, and just as a direct extension of the owner of the company. And if you go to my website, thejskinner.com, and click around, you'll get directly to the testimonials page. You'll see a couple of my clients, and be awesome. Let's see if I got a customer here. Hey, Terrell, good to see you. Glad you're looking forward to today's show. I did mention earlier, and I'll just mention this one more time and keep moving, that Reverend Emmanuel Musinga was scheduled to be on this morning. We did our tech check and conversation last night, and everything was good. And so I don't understand why he's not here. I've been trying to get in touch with him. I just pray, and let's all pray that he's okay. And I hope it's something as simple as some sort of misunderstanding on the time or something. But we will get him back. We will definitely get him back and have this conversation. So, as we're talking about my show last week, and one of the comments that one of my friends had was, it was a little, he used the word quirky. It's like, well, I probably qualify for some of that. But at the same time, it wasn't focused enough to understand exactly what I do, at least to his satisfaction. And that's important. You see, perception is reality. And if I think it's wonderful and I did great, but you don't, then I failed. And this is kind of like buyers and sellers show 101. And I want to make sure that you get properly communicated with as it relates to what I do. And I want to be a lesson for you to understand that if you just think you're the greatest thing since sliced bread and everything's wonderful and you doing your stuff, but you're scratching your head because whoever your audience is not getting it, then it's like it's time to retool or adjust or get some feedback. And in this case, my feedback was I need to be more precise in what I was talking about so that people can really understand what I do. So I'm going to talk about the two things that I'm big on. I think I can't boil it down to one. That's for the longest time, people would say, Jay, you can just be one thing. And I said, well, I can't. I've got two different things. I think out of both sides of my brain. And it's helped me build a nice career and have good business. And if you're a business owner, a CEO, a president, or I've done work for sales managers, people that just don't have enough bandwidth to get all their projects done, I'd be a good guy to talk to. I'm an active consultant type of person. And that means I'm getting involved in actually doing things. I'm not a person that you talk to and I write up a plan and then give it to you and we all agree and then it's up to you to execute. I'm part of the execution. And I'm not full time. I'm 7 to 10 hours a week, sometimes more, sometimes less, normally more, it seems like on the average, working for you on a particular project or area of your company that you want to develop more, and you just simply don't have time to do it. And we have a conversation. We talk about what's involved, and away we go. And it could last 2 weeks, it could last 3 weeks, 5 weeks, 10 weeks, or a year. And we just keep going. There's no long-term contracts. It's just working together to try to get some things done. And it's a very comfortable way to work. And I know that when we're dealing with particular projects or areas of a company, that's plenty of time to dive in, get things going, work with other employees there, help them get things going, and then come back the next week and see where we are and work on some things with them as well. And I also work directly with your customers if that's needed. I work with your digital marketing company. Probably one of the biggest areas I run into is that people with businesses like yours have a digital marketing relationship with someone, but you don't personally really understand it greatly, and it requires more help from someone in your company. And so as you get monthly reports and you talk to them, it's like the same thing over and over again. You're not sure it's really moving forward. Well, I'm the guy to bring additional creativity to it, work with your digital marketing people and bump some things along or push some things along and introduce some new things that's going to make you have better search engine optimization, make the phone ring more, make your brand awareness greater or share of mind. So as the CEO extender, I'm just trying to do the things that you intend to do, but maybe you don't have enough time to do. That's that. Now, if you have any questions or comments, please, in the comment section, jump in and ask them. Or if you have a comment or you want to say, yeah, I like that or don't like that or whatever, this is a good time to do that. Number 2, that was the CEOextender.com. Okay, now let's look at the next one. I'm the plasticpalletguy.com. I'm the plastic pallet guy. And what I do is work with big time manufacturing companies to find bottlenecks in quality, safety problems. Quality control is big with pallets. I would say, well, if you have the right pallet, it's going to speed up your processes and help. So I try to find some bottlenecks if there are some, and maybe they're related to the platform of the pallet that you're using, or we can even figure out ways to speed things up by using a specially designed platform, plastic pallet, highly engineered and designed, that will allow you to move faster in your process. And I'm going to do something here because I think I talk about plastic pallets, but I never even showed a picture of one. Can you believe that? So let me share some pictures of plastic pallets. I'm just going to go to, my website. It's the easiest thing. I'm going to share this screen here. Boom. And my hope is that if my friend that watched it last week watches this again today, he says, wow, Jay paid attention, listen, and that it's more precise and more concise and not as bouncing around. And for those of you who thought last week was just wonderful, great. I'm glad you did. Hope this is interesting too. Certainly interested in your comments. But let's take a look at this screen, because it's like, what is a plastic pallet? And it's like some people say, well, who doesn't know that? Well, some people might not, depending on how you spell it. So here we go. The Plastic Pallet Guy. We just click on it right there. And specializing in plastic pallets, alternative material platforms. And we go down here, you're going to see some pictures here, examples of plastic pallets that done manufacturing on or concepting on. These are concept drawings here. And the whole idea here is that you can see there's a wide range of styles and sizes. This particular style here is a cradle style pallet with inboard roll handling or roll organization and control things, like roll stops is what we call them. Then you see some of these other pallets, the flat ones with the slots that are designed for automation. And here's another thing with some handling things actually molded in, and it's just a smooth pallet. But what's interesting here is the pallets that I design and manufacture, and this is a turnkey approach from concept to actually delivering the products, are super heavy duty, long lasting, and we work through the entire PDT, project product development team process, with you and your group to make them awesome. And a lot of work, as you see, we've got some really good engineering here to be able to do these designs. And we use 3D CAD and walk through it and solve as many problems as we can right here on a screen before we ever get to tooling. And we'll sometimes do some prototyping when it makes sense, of actually coming up with a product that's very similar to the production product that you can test certain things. Maybe in the course of our design, it's like we have some questions on what might work and what won't, or some particular hardware that we think is okay. Before you make the big commitment into it deeply, we work together to prototype things. So, that's the idea of the plasticpalletguy.com. How many years have I done that? Lots of years. Sneed says, looks very palatable. Thank you. It is very palatable. And the palette process, Gregory, thanks for coming. The palette process and doing it, like I said, is something that I've perfected over the last 30 years. And as well as the CEO extender process has gone hand in hand, where it had the ability to travel all over a territory right there. Yeah, someone says that looks like the whole world. It's like, yeah, right there, it is. And I've been on every continent doing business except for Antarctica. And if you know anybody in Antarctica that needs something, give me a call. I'd like to go see them too. Anyway, that's Jay Skinner and the Plastic Palette Guy. And for anybody that's just jumping in here late saying, hey, where's Reverend Muzinga? I don't know. Something has obviously come up that's prevented him from getting on board. And so I'm sure I'll be finding out. I can't get in touch with him right now, but, that's what's happened. Greg has a good question here. It says, how did you get into pallets in the first place? That's a good question, Greg. Thanks. Kind of by accident, just like other things that happen in life. I mean, it's like God had a plan, but I didn't know what it was. I had been the financial planning coordinator for E.F. Hutton. You guys might remember when E.F. Hutton talks, people listen. And around 1988, after the stock market crashing in 87, through a course of events, I decided to get out of that financial services business altogether. And a guy that went to our church had a plastic factory, and on the side there was a sign and plastic products. And one day he and his wife were handing out programs as people came in, and I said, hey, Mr. Clutter, his name is Mr. Clutter, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about maybe coming to work for you in the plastics industry. And he said, love to talk to you. He knew who I was. He'd seen me playing the piano in church and seen me around. He knew me a little bit, didn't know a lot, but he had me over, and that was the beginning. I was with him for 2.5, 3 years. And then I moved on and actually got away from that particular business. But while I was there, I really learned the plastic pallet business, because that was an area that he was a pioneer in. And I learned the idea of it. And then later on, I got asked to be part of a startup company that was going to do packaging. And I said, hey, I know about plastic pallets. And they said, great. That would be awesome. And it ended up being Stratus Plastic Pallets, which became pallets.com. And that'd be 1993. And, The rest is history. We built the largest, plastic pallet company that was doing that type of molding, rotational molding in the world. And later it was sold once, and then sold again. And then in 2018, October 2018, I resigned to do other things, and you're seeing it right now. But that was a long haul, and in the course of that, I managed to develop that whole business, methods and ways to do it. So that was it. And let's see right here. It says, Sharon, look at Sharon, you're here. And congratulations. Everybody needs to know my niece, Sharon Hoffmeister. That's the SharonHoffmeister.com. Today will be her 1,136th consecutive time online for her business, where she gets online, she works with her people and talks to them and does presentations and demonstrations. And I'm real proud of you. Sharon never missed a day for 1,136 times. That's amazing. And then let's see, Gregory says, sounded like a business with a foundation. It did. And alternative material platforms, that's right, Greg. Alternative material platforms make great sense. When people were pretty much stuck with wood before the plastic pallet world came along, and then the differentiation was the type of molding, the type of design and engineering, and quite frankly, when you're dealing with PDT pallets, that'd be me, PDT pallets, you're getting the best of the world can offer in terms of product design and development. So, plastic pallets, CEO extender. You own a company, you just don't have the bandwidth to get everything done you'd like to, and you'd like someone around that has the life and business experience that can step into your position as a sidekick to get some things done that you can trust and can go out there and get things done and has had the life experience like you and other key people in your organization that are also up to their ears and eyeballs in projects and bring me on and we have a blast and get a job done. And you can find out all about that if you just go to my website, which has lots of names, but an easy one probably to remember is thejay Skinner.com. thejskinner.com. Anyway, that being said, I hope that was less quirky and easier to understand about what I do and where I go and how I operate. And I guess it would be fun to show you here on the website as well. When you go to thejskinner.com, you literally will come on a page like this, and there'll be short video testimonials from clients that I'm working with and other people. It's like kind of cool. And you can click on those and see what they say. And then you have written recommendations from people all over the world that I've dealt with over the years. So that's kind of infomercial. Anyway, I want to thank you for coming. And let's see, Greg's saying, sound like a business. He's asking, are there mini pallets? And, I don't know what you call a mini pallet, Greg, but it's whatever the alternative material platform is to be used for closed loop shipping, work in process in your factory or regular shipping. And I think the smallest pallet I ever made was about 21 inches by 28 inches, very small, and worked just right. And it was a printing industry pallet that worked in a machine. So yeah, you can do some small ones. Anyway, everyone, thank you so much for coming. I want you to know that when I'm signing off like this, if you make a comment and I miss it, understand there's delays here and I just miss it. And I really appreciate you coming and being part of the Buyers and Sellers Show. And again, if you were looking for Reverend Muzinga, I'm going to be trying to get in touch with him after the show. I hope he's okay. I'm sure he is. I just don't know what happened. And we'll catch him on the flip side and bring him back in for that interesting conversation that we were planning on. Anyway, have a great day. Love you all. It's very special to have you here with me today and every Friday at 10:35 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, the Buyers and Sellers Show. Bye now. see you next week. Thanks for coming.